morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle with Dr. Mobi. I'm Dr. Mobi, and today we have an excellent guest. Let's welcome Shaba Shams. Hello, Shaba.
Hello, Dr. Mobi. Hello, citizens of the world. Thank you so much for having me again on your show. Very happy and blessed to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, and it's always wonderful to catch up with you. And Shaba, let's give a little intro. She has a great resume, and she's a well-known podcaster, interviewer, and now she's author of the book. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Give us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, Dr. Mobi, thank you so much for having me and being on your platform, talking to your audience and mine at the same time. I am Algerian. Algeria. Let me actually. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna. No, go ahead. Sorry, it just.
Yeah, and so I live in the United States. I am a peak performance strategist. What that means is that I help people to get from where they are to where they want to be by building success habits and a very strong mindset. I just published my first book based on the podcast that I started doing last year. It's called Shaba Speaks, to inspire and empower and connect the citizens of the world. And just writing the book actually was such an amazing experience because I had pretty much to reflect on every single guest that I had, including yourself. Remember I had you probably 2 or 3 times. And then I went back to those interviews and I took stories that you shared, your experiences, and so many of my guests. And I call you guys elite because you're not the general public. It's different when you survey the general public and you just sample a group versus when you handpick the elites because of their knowledge, expertise, education, influence, and so on. So it was such a fun project to do.
Okay, great. And also tell me, what was your motivation behind writing the book? Like, when did you really decide that you're gonna write the book?
So let's go back to 2020, the famous COVID-19 year.
Yeah.
I actually quit my job on February 4th to start, to really be full-time entrepreneur, work on my business. That was February 4th. And then 3 weeks later, we went into shutdown. And of course, I had like a week or two of panic mode. And it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? So I quickly pivoted online like everybody else. And part of what I started doing is live interviews with entrepreneurs. I wasn't interested in talking to everybody pretty much, but I had a niche, which is entrepreneurship and success. Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted to learn more about, to have more conversation about. So I started this show, and as I was, kind of interviewing people from all walks of life, from all parts of the world, which was an amazing experience, I invited a friend of mine. He has a London Speaks, I think, something like that, a TV show, and he's out in Canada. I invited him actually a couple of times, and as we were speaking, having conversation, he said, "Why don't you write a book about all these interviews that you're doing?" And I'm like, I mean, I've published articles before because I come from academia, and I wrote a thesis, and in the academic world in a way. So I know that I want to write. I know that I want to be a published author. I always had that desire. In fact, I have 2 topics on other books that are sitting, and now I'm going to go back and revisit and finish them. So then this one just came naturally. It was a project that I was doing, and it's like, yeah, let's interview people and write a book about what we have learned.
Okay, great. I think that must be a wonderful experience to meet so many people different and kind of learn a lot of new things. And
that's how we met, you and me too.
Yeah, and
yeah, that's how we met.
like I also met you, and I personally I learn a lot, and many times even when I was talking to you, I think I realized that we could do this, we could do that, and and you know so many languages, and you know so many cultures, and you have studied. I think a lot of good things happen, when we kind of put
Sure.
together things,
Yeah.
energy, and we're definitely looking forward to work this year on a lot of new projects. And I think this all started, like you said, with online presence, and or now with the book. With the book, what is kind of different that when you think, I know we talked and we have interviews all the time, but what about when you write something? Is that a different experience than you say, oh, I missed that, or this part was missing?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be very honest. The style or the way that I wrote the book was a little kind of original in a way for me, because I always wrote or expressed ideas and research through writing, the process of writing. Writing this book was a little different, and I'm going to give away a secret. Everything pretty much that I speak about, I record, and then I transcribe. Like even when I had ideas, I would just record them, and I would transcribe them. So it was a lot faster. That's why the style in which I write this book is very conversational. It was done on purpose. So, and then of course I had a really a nice editor who helped me kind of shape and reshape and put the book together in a way. So yeah, I mean, it's not very hard actually to write when you think about it, that it's a conversation. Writing is a written conversation in a way. So we sometimes are better speakers than writers, but if you really find a way to turn the conversation into a written word, then it's not very intimidating to write that book. However, a lot of people approach writing a book, oh, it has to be, very elitist and you have to write in a certain way. And no, just keep it simple. Write the way you speak, and then just keep it very authentic, very organic. And
Mhm.
the most important thing is the idea you convey, and you want people to understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
And a lot of authors, they write in a style that they think it's smart and intelligent, but people don't even understand what the heck they're talking about. So they're limited to a very narrow audience. But if you really like, this book is about how you become a better speaker, better listener, how you can build an audience online, grow
Mhm.
your business, connect with, citizens of the world. It has to be simple because everybody can do it, and it doesn't cost anything. You can grab a phone and start interviewing people on Instagram, for instance, and you
Mhm.
get started that way. So I wanted to keep it simple.
Mhm. And I think so. Everybody should check out. It's on Amazon, and it's also available yeah, both formats, Kindle as well as book form, the hard copy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So also tell me about some of the themes you have written. So there are 7 payoffs with that, and I think we're going to highlight one by one. That helps to build effective communication skills. So tell me some of the things which you have put together for audience. So.
So the speaking one is a big one, because I coach people on speaking skills. As you know, I'm a John Maxwell certified speaker and trainer. So speaking is a very important. Communication is a very important skill. It doesn't matter in what niche you're in, whether you're an entrepreneur or a career seeker, a CEO, a leader, a parent, a friend, whoever you are. Communication is very, very important. And a
Mhm.
lot of people focus on communication as, oh, it's just what you say, what comes
Mhm.
out of your mouth. And that's not true. It's also what you listen to and what you hear. So communication is really building that connection between saying and, giving and receiving ideas and thoughts. And I believe that doing these interviews really improved my especially the listening skills. And I noticed that a lot of people have very poor listening skills. They just don't know how to listen. They tend to interrupt, speak over you, not getting the idea. Because of the style, my style of doing the interviews, which is I never look at the bio of my guest, and I never prepare questions. It forces me to be in very present with the
Mm,
guest and
mm,
paying attention to everything they say. That way I can, formulate my next question and interact. So
mm,
this is why doing these organic interviews really help improve your communication skills, listening and speaking.
mm.
That was the first one.
Yeah, no, that is so important. What you said is makes sense because a lot of podcaster and interview stars, they would be like, you absolutely, you're right. They want to read the bio and they want to just go by the same. If you look at their different sections or their different episodes, they're all saying similar. You
Yeah,
can exactly tell.
yeah.
But yes, I love that because personally, that's my style too. I never ever give any questions, and I never ever even ask about. We get everything on the show
Right.
exactly in this 30 minutes exactly. So every episode is totally different. What I ask and how I ask. So this is because, yeah, I personally enjoy that style. I love what you said. Also building self-confidence. So where do you think that would help everyone to kind of
Wow,
build?
this is a big one. Absolutely. I spoke to a young lady who, well, yeah, a young lady who was very, for instance, she was very camera shy. And then when she started doing these interviews, she became more confident.
Mm,
For me, the confidence, it's something that I've had. I'm not going to say that, oh, I use the show to become confident.
mhm,
However, I entered a different space. I
mm,
entered the space of entrepreneurship, which is new to me. So a lot of my skills that I had in academia, I brought in, but then like you enter a space that is new and known, and you don't know what you don't know. So what do? You speak to people who are one step ahead of you. And that's what I chose to do. My niche is entrepreneurs and successful people who are ahead of me. And then of course, when you talk to people who accomplish for, so much, like I had Raymond Aaron, who's like a 10 times best-selling author. Anyone would have been very intimidated in having somebody of his caliber on my show, but I wasn't because I didn't look him up. And then I just sat with him and we just had conversations like two people meeting at any event and grabbing coffee and having just like an organic, authentic conversation. I had another celebrity from Pakistan that I didn't know who he was until I started talking to him, and it's like, holy cow, he's really well known in his country. So this is what I mean, building confidence. You start talking to people who
mm,
are ahead of you. They have their influence and their audience, and then you just build that confidence and feeling comfortable speaking to them.
mm. Okay. Yes. Also, I would like to know from you. Then we can move to the third part, which you have mentioned about grow your audience. Of course, people will try to follow. So that's another thing I want to ask you is about Amazon experience with. I also published my book on both. So, what is like putting on Amazon?
What is what? Sorry.
What is putting on Amazon? Do you find it helpful?
Yeah, I mean, I'm using Amazon right now because it's the biggest marketplace. Then in the future, we'll see. I mean, this book is just the first of many. I intend to write and I intend to publish quite a bit because it's something that I really care about and I enjoy as well.
Okay, okay, great. And so also what I always find is that with Amazon you can actually add it every day or even every week, and then the new content will appear right away. So this was the advantage, and both Kindle version as well as the electronic version. because I think with my book I've done probably 10 or more edits already. So, which is great because in the past you couldn't do that because you have to actually reprint the whole series. Now you can.
Yeah. The other thing is that I called KDP and really found them to be super helpful. Just like a quick note, for instance, when you upload your book on Amazon, it only gives you like two key categories. And then you have literally to contact KDP and they add an additional 8. And there was like a back and forth between the KDP team, really helping me with, figure out which categories I need. And then if they don't find that category, they come up with suggestions. Amazing team to work with. And they were very quick at responding as well. And then, of course, keywords are really important. So anybody who publishes a book or has a publisher out there, make sure that they hit the right keywords because this is literally how people find you. And if you don't have the keywords right and if you don't have the right categories, your book is going to sink. And it took me like maybe a week or two to figure that out. So I really want to share it because it's such an important thing that a lot of people won't tell you.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, that is important to have a right category. And you mentioned about create the content, and which I think you had a lot of content because you did a lot of shows on that. So, was there any other additional inspiration for your content?
Yeah, my guests, one, like I said, entrepreneurs, successful people, people who are ahead of me were inspiration. And then my audience as well is an inspiration because anytime I do a live show, of course, my audience comes in and they start asking questions and they make suggestions and they say things. So I pay attention to that, and sometimes I just take different ideas and I turn them into like a little content, and I do a live by myself or with a
Mhm.
guest, and then we talk about it. So both my guests and my audience have been super helpful in creating a bunch of content, and I hope it's gonna continue to grow.
Okay, great. Also, tell me what are some of the strategies you are going to use? Are you going to go on a tour? Are you going to do some of those now with COVID being gone? Are you doing some?
To be honest, we haven't really thought about it that far. But a couple of things that I was thinking about doing is do like a fundraiser, work with some nonprofit organizations in the area. I already spotted a couple of nice places, especially in the Daytona Beach, with the river and the ocean and all. Really beautiful, beautiful spaces. We do fundraisers, and then in collaboration with, together, we do also book signing. I have two of my friends in Orlando, which is 30 minutes away from me. They just published as well. So we might be, partnering in doing a book signing, the three of us, to bring a big audience. And then we'll see. I mean, I shared with you earlier that I was planning a trip to Pakistan. So we want to do a documentary on tour in Pakistan. So I might do a book signing or a little talk in there as well, and end up a little bit in Dubai and then North Africa. So there are a lot of things. It's just like contingent to what COVID will allow us to do, but
Mhm.
definitely a huge marketing campaign on Clubhouse, on my social media, paid advertisement. I mean, whatever it takes to get the book out. But the most important thing is, originally when I wrote the book, I knew that I wanted to turn it into a coaching program. So that's every segment is going to turn into courses, and I'm going to be working on that.
Okay, well, great. So we're looking forward, once you announce those courses and then come back and we'll be happy to
Yeah,
put some info for our audience to see that.
yeah.
Also, tell me a little bit about things with COVID. You think things going to change, or what has? I'm sure you have seen a lot with in Florida, right?
Yeah, that's really a good question. I think it's all in the mindset. I'm writing a chapter with a book called The Blessings of COVID, and it's going to come out, I think, at the end of the month. There are 25 authors who are contributing to write about the blessings of COVID, and my part was literally to say I'm done. I think it's all in the mindset, and I think I'm fully vaccinated, and telling myself I'm done with COVID. I'm moving on and I'm living my life. In fact, I went to a Pakistani Eid party last night. I didn't wear a mask. I went to a wedding reception the night before. I didn't wear a mask. I think I'm at that mindset where I'm literally done. Get vaccinated and go back to your life. And this is how you overcome, the virus, the whole trauma of the virus. And then I was one of the most careful people on the planet, really. From the beginning, I social distance, I was wearing a mask, I was sanitizing. So I really did everything. But after a year and a half and being fully vaccinated, I'm in that mind where I'm taking control of my life and I'm gonna go make the best out of it. So I highly recommend that people get vaccinated and they go back to life, normal life.
Yeah, oh, the only thing is, I would say that I have my brother actually. He was fully vaccinated, everything, and he got COVID from a coworker who was also vaccinated partially, but he got COVID, and they were not wearing masks, and then he thought he's immune, so which is true, but he developed COVID. And then, so he called me. I was like, really, he is high risk. So I had
Mhm.
to intervene and give him medication. He's better. But,
Be
this
careful
is,
still.
hmm?
Be careful still. Like even though
I
you're
would say,
vaccinated.
I would say you still wear just, of course, washing hands and just masks. I mean, those are the minimum. But advantage is now you can go more activities. The only thing now I would say go out more. That you can definitely do more, especially with people who are fully vaccinated. You can definitely do them. I don't know. I'm still not buying 100% that it's back to normal. It will be a little bit. The problem is,
You don't live in Florida.
yeah, yeah. In Florida,
Florida,
probably.
Florida, I think people went back to normal like last
I know. Well, even here, Virginia, they have lifted mandate. I mean, CDC and the local government, of course, they have lifted everything. Problem is not virus does not listen to CDC or doesn't listen to, and unfortunately it's mutating too. And in India, as you know, there's a triple threat with that mutant, and
yeah.
that mutation is kind of different, scary, different. There will be, in Singapore, I think they lifted everything and they were having fun, and now again back to lockdown.
Yeah.
The question is when, there's, I think, plenty of light already, and there's plenty of good news and everything. We are doing much better what we suffered through trauma. But I would just be, I think be careful with just, they say, I think they have that proverb or saying that watch the closing door, right?
Mm.
Because this is gonna be. I know we have lost everything, patience and everything with this, but I know that you have to be a little bit still vigilant, because I don't think there is any disadvantage putting masks. When I see there are a lot of people, when I see there are a lot of people outside and next to me, and then I do wear mask and I just put it on when I mean I carry still in my pocket, and I will put it on because
Yeah.
I, you know,
You never know.
one other good thing which I saw with this COVID, I saw other good things too, but this one important, very important thing was there was no flu this season, no flu season. There were hardly cases, less than few hundreds of all over US. What a amazing thing. Imagine every year people used to die, and we used to give tons and tons of vaccine, and everybody still developed flu. You know, and I also
Or
got
is it
flu.
because of people, distancing and not
Yeah,
on
not and wearing masks. Imagine how much money was saved because we did not develop flu.
yeah,
And can that happen again? That we just be little careful and then we don't have flu ever, or we have flu even, or less of any infections.
yeah,
I would take that because every year I would get a flu, or get a bronchitis, and I'm sick for 1 week and horrible, horrible. I mean, it's not COVID, but it's still sickness. Okay, so I don't want to get that. So there are other advantages. It's not just COVID. It's not just COVID. I think personally, I think we should be still cleaning hands, of course, 100%, right?
yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Okay, so we should be still cleaning hands 100%. We should be careful still. And then I think those lessons we can, you don't have to observe as rigid as we did with COVID, but I think still should be there, some form, in my opinion. Maybe
Absolutely, yeah.
good luck on your book, and let me put it
Thank
for
you so much.
yeah, yeah. So please, everybody, buy this and get it, and write a review, excellent review for Shaba, and myself. I'll do the same.
Thank
Um,
you.
so, so anything else? Any other thing you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, my share is just to tell people figure out what you want and do it because we have seen COVID and how many lives were lost, how many lives went upside down. Nothing is guaranteed, so you don't want to live life being scared of not doing. So just have faith in your higher power, your universe, know what you want, and just do it and do it now. So don't wait. So I think that's my big takeaway that was actually shared among all my guests. Every single person that came through my platform, they said, do it. You want to write a book, you want to lose weight, you want to exercise, you want to travel, you want to, whatever you want to do, what your heart desire, just go ahead and do it.
Mm. Okay, okay, great, and looking forward to many more shows with you. Take care, Shaba.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mobi.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.